Okay, we should be live. I'm not entirely sure if we're live though. Let me check. Yes, we are. We are live. Welcome to the I guess you could call it a pregame show. TCU pulls off the upset against Michigan. Definitely wasn't expected there, and it gives me a lot more hope in the game that we're about to be calling right now, which is Ohio State and Georgia. As that game still isn't on yet. TCU is celebrating. What a win for TCU. And it's just even more embarrassing if you're an Ohio State fan. Um, to lose this Michigan team that's losing to a TCU team that everyone thought that Alabama should be put in over. So this is definitely not a good win. But first, I want to talk about a little bit of this home screen. So if you guys don't know, on the left, that's Kaylee Ringo. And on the right, for Ohio State, that's CJ Stroud. Those are the two core players that I think are going to have a stellar game for both of the teams to win. Let's start off with Kaylee Ringo. It's no secret that Ohio State, if they want to win this game, is going to have to throw for a lot of yards and they're going to score for a lot of points. And Kaylee Ringo is going to likely match up against Marvin Harrison, who, let's face it, after this year is going to be a top 15 pick in the NFL draft and has a sensational season. Did not win the Blitnikoff. It was Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee that won it. A lot of people think he got snubbed in that. But apart from the Blitnikoff, um, he's going to have to. Marvin Harrison was so good this year. Uh, Elite route running, can catch any ball. Just a really good receiver. Another one of the Ohio State great receivers they've had over the past few years, and he's going to be matched up with him most of the game. And if Georgia wants to win, they got to limit this Ohio State passing offense. And in order to do that, Kaylee Ringo's going to have to step up against Marvin Harrison. Then for Ohio State, like mentioned earlier, they're going to have to throw for a lot of yards. They're going to have to, I have a whole thing on slides. I'll show you that in a minute. But he's going to have a very good game, limit turnovers, and almost have a perfect game if the Bucks want to have a chance of winning this game. This game is in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. I have it up there, and it is the Peach Bowl. So, excuse me. Let me go to the um, slideshow where we have everything we need. So, here's a slideshow. We got number 4 Ohio State, number 1 Georgia. So, how are they going to beat the Buckeyes? Well, it's winning the trenches. It's that simple. Last week proved that Ohio State secondary cannot be successful when running cover zero. We watched it against Michigan. I mean, they threw the ball over them, and they had many plays there. Michigan got chunk yards, and really, if they can control the trenches and be able to run the ball and force Ohio State to stack that box and force Ohio State to go and cover zero with no secondary help, it's going to be almost impossible for Ohio State to win this game. They're going to have to put up 51 points like TCU just did in a very thrilling game against Michigan. But I mean, let me sidetrack here. But if you're an Ohio State fan, how can it not give you confidence to see TCU, which was considered an even bigger underdog than Ohio State is, win? So it gives me confidence. But TCU didn't play UGA, and UGA has probably been the best team in college football for the last 18 months. Back to how they can beat them. They got to throw out the one-on-ones, yeah, and then their defense. I would say force third downs. Ohio State. Has had a very nice offensive stats sheet, but one of their worst statistics is third down. So ranked 18th in the country on third down completions, which is really not bad. But for an offense that's considered top 3 in the country, finishing 18th on third downs completions is kind of low. And stay on Marvin Harrison, like mentioned earlier, he has almost 1,157 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns. Has had an excellent season and is only a sophomore. So we are getting aerial coverage of Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Jordan and also pressure Stroud. Stroud, and the reason why Stroud isn't very well on his running ability and his scrambling ability, so it's going to be hard for him to extend plays as it is, just because of his athletic ability. And then he also plays less consistent when he's pressured, and It's said that he's bad footwork and bad ball placement. There's been examples of him getting happy feet when getting pressured. So basically, don't let Stroud get into a rhythm. So how Ohio State wins is pretty simple. Limit pass rush and let CJ get in rhythm. It's been shown if you've watched any Ohio State games, if CJ Stroud is in rhythm, this offense is almost unstoppable. Um, and and Ohio State is going to have to score a lot of points to win this game because Georgia's just such a balanced team. It's going to be hard to stop them. But in considering what we saw last week, I find it very unlikely that this Ohio State secondary is going to be able to lock the whole defense in general is going to be able to lock up enough to where they can stop the offense from scoring. So I think Ohio State's going to just have to win a shootout in order to win this game. And they're going to have to score the points quick, in my opinion, because eventually this Georgia defense is excellent. And we're getting aerial coverage of the beautiful Mercedes-Benz Superdome, where the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is held and where this contest will be played. Uh, I don't think I mentioned this yet, but the game is in Atlanta, and it is very, very close to Athens, Georgia, the campus of Georgia. It's maybe like an hour and a half drive. So a lot of Georgia fans going to be there. Still, don't doubt the Ohio State crew. It's going to be a sea of red throughout the stadium, really. But I would expect Georgia's um, fans to come in huge in this game and play a big part in this game and almost be the 12th man. Back to how Ohio State will win this game. Um, I would say force Georgia to throw. Stetson's not, he's not a top three quarterback prospect, not even round one. He's not even supposed to be drafted. A little part of that's because of his build, but also he doesn't have elite arm talent. He's not gonna have a amazing arm that can throw really far, and he doesn't have zip on the ball. So I feel like if you shut down the run, make Stetson throw, and really just throw off the Georgia offensive coordinator and force him to have to improvise and change up the scheme a little bit. Yeah, and then we're gonna go down to the key components of the game. So we already talked about C.J. Stroud and Kaylee Ringo, pretty self-explanatory. But we'll talk about Ryan Day for a minute. I think he is the top non-player, and I think the biggest non-player, the biggest coaching factor in this game. I think his coaching is more important than Kirby Smart. Listen, this game is Ohio State's unmatched, partially because of the way Georgia plays a physical team. And we saw Ohio State play a physical team back in November, and they got absolutely slaughtered. So Ryan Day is going to have to he's going to have to coach a almost perfect game. And he's going to have to take risks. And it's just going to have to be one of Ryan Day's best coach games. A little bit, he's going to have to coach like he did kind of against the Clemson game, no mistakes, and just score a lot of points early and just score, 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 score. And like mentioned earlier, he cannot be conservative because this Georgia team does not stop. And the next player we're talking about, Stetson Bennett. I just think I need to see that, if Ohio State stops the run, can you do it? Can you rely on solely yourself to bring your team uh, into the red zone and have your team scoring points? If he can do that, it doesn't matter how much CJ Stroud can do, in my opinion. If Stetson Bennett can play a good game and show he can do it himself and doesn't have to rely on the run, I don't know if Ohio State can win this game. With Jalen Carter, we didn't mention him, but I don't think he needs to be mentioned because I think he's going to have a big enough game anyways. I do. The Michigan defense did really well against the run. I do not expect anything but sensational from Jalen Carter. Uh, a sensational game is what I expect. He's a monster and is going to be a top three pick. So showing Ohio State all pumped up for this game, and they should be. I mean, this is a second chance that they're very lucky to have. But if they can execute, Ryan Day can coach a perfect game. If Ohio State's offense can score a lot, and if their defense could just make 3 or 4 stops, maybe 5, I think Ohio State can win this game. We'll go back to this. Should be on the screen. But I want to talk about a little bit about the Michigan game for a minute because we got some time. Wow. I mean, Michigan, big favorites coming into this game. I don't think anyone thought TCU was going to put up 51 points. You bet the over on that game. You're sitting real pretty right now. Um, just wow. I'm a little stunned that Michigan lost that game, and it's concerning as an Ohio State fan to see a Big 12 team dismantle a team that dismantled us. And I don't know if they. I mean, they had like two pick sixes, so you could say, hey, maybe it was just a bad coach game, unprepared, and they just made some mistakes. And it is true against Ohio State, they did not make very many mistakes, but Ohio State was the reason they didn't. Allowing them to run free, allowing them to pass whenever they want. They could do anything they wanted on offense, and that can't happen in this game against Georgia because we need to win, obviously, as Georgia is coming out of the tunnel right now. Um, it's going to be an interesting game, but it gives me hope that the outcome of the TCU game showed that the underdog can in fact win in the college football playoff because we do not see that much in the college football playoff. A team like that. I mean, there was Cincinnati last year was similar to TCU. Um, and then the year before that, and here come the Ohio State Buckeyes out of the tunnel. And who else was that? Michigan State a couple of years ago, Notre Dame. We've never seen like that underdog team win and go to win the first round and then advance to the national championship. But I do think if Ohio State wins this game, I think they have a very good chance of beating TCU. I just think they match up way better against TCU than they do against Georgia. That's for sure. They're showing the crowd. I see some Buckeyes fans in there. Um, I thought I would see more Georgia, but obviously Ohio State does travel. So they're showing the SEC versus Big Ten right now. 2020, last time Ohio State played an SEC team, and they lost 52-24. It was in the national championship against that loaded Alabama team that had Mac Jones. I believe they had Najee Harris, Devontae Smith. So some really good players on that team. As Georgia's going out for the coin toss right now. But one interesting part of this game was that if you looked at the line, I think I typed it in the chat. The line shifted down. The in the lead up to the game, it was 8.5, and now it's 5.5. Minus 5.5 Georgia. So I think that's a really positive sign if you're an Ohio State fan. No one knows better than Vegas. Obviously, they got the TCU game wrong, but if you're looking on paper and you're looking at stats and you're looking at momentum, eh, most people would have picked Michigan to win that game by a good amount. But which it was really surprising because you looked at the outcome in the Alabama game where they blew out Kansas State, and I really thought that Alabama's blowout of Kent State or Kansas State, excuse me, and the fact that TCU lost to Kansas State, I'm like they don't stand a chance. But then they go out, play their hearts out, score 51 against a Michigan defense that did a very excellent job against Ohio State. It is mightily concerning that what TCU did to Michigan, and it's scary for this game. It really scares me. But the line's 5.5. It's Vegas is usually always right most of the time, not always, but they know better than a lot of us do. I trust them over some of the analysts that go on TV and say certain things. So I'm confident, and I'll give my score prediction right now, and I'll give the flow of the game. I think Ohio State. I think it's going to be much closer than the second half. Then it's going to be a close game in the second half, much closer than I think people think. I think it'll be like I can't tell. I think 2017 Georgia, but I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm an optimist. I think Ohio State's going to win this game. I truly do. After the TCU outcome, I know I was talking about how embarrassing of a loss it was, and how it showed that a team that dismantled us actually got beat by a Big 12 team that lost to a team in the Big 12 championship that got blown out by Alabama. But I guess it's not a. It's I'm going way too deep in on this, but I think two outcomes from the Michigan game that relate to this. Obviously, uh, not the opponent. Obviously, not who's going to be playing. Who both these teams will be playing next week. That's not the biggest outcome. I think number one, it shows the underdog has a chance, and number two, it shows, hey, maybe Ohio State is not ready for this at all, as there are some Buckeyes fans there, a lot of Buckeyes fans there. A little surprised by that, but I'm assuming it's probably Wow. There is a good amount of Buckeyes fans there. A little surprising. Might even be 50-50. I don't have the numbers on that, but we're getting ready to kick off here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, the Peach Bowl. I will turn to ESPN and I'll have their scoreboard up just to help you guys. I'll share my screen now. And Georgia's going to kick it off. Ohio State will receive. And it's going to be a touchback. So CJ Stroud will trot onto the field, ball at his own 25. Had a kind of bad performance last week. Just I expected way more out of this Ohio State team last week, and they kind of just got out physicaled by Michigan. And the bottom line is Ohio State is not a very physical team. I mean, I'm sure every football game is physical, but they're not going to out physical, top tier physical teams. So they got to score a lot of points, and that was showed last week, and they didn't score, and that's why they lost. Stroud takes a snap, first down and 10. He throws, and the pass is complete to Marvin Harrison, and it's going to be a 10-yard gain for Marvin Harrison, and he's already making big plays early. One of our key impact players that wasn't mentioned was Marvin Harrison, but we kind of just figured to include CJ Stroud because him having a big game means Marvin Harrison probably will too. And Kaylee Ringo is, I don't think Kaylee Ringo's matched up against them, but see, Stroud, the running back lined up to his right. Stroud takes a snap, he hands it off, and it's going to be around a 3-yard gain there. It was so banked up on running backs. I believe it was Hayden Dalen, the freshman. Yep, Trayvon Henderson. He's on the bench right there. He's got, I believe it's a foot injury. It's going to be 2nd and 7 here for this Buckeyes offense. Stroud with Hayden lined up to his left. Two receivers on the right, one on the left. Stroud motions the receiver to the left side. Stroud takes a snap. He throws to the right side of the field, and it's incomplete. Pass was intended for Marvin Harrison towards the right side. Coverage by Kaylee Ringo. Ball kind of just was thrown to right of Marvin Harrison as he ran like kind of a button route. Ringo was there, but a better throw probably would have been completed. So a big 3rd down and 7 here for Ohio State. First 3rd down and 7 of the game. First 3rd down of the game, I should say. Stroud is an empty with trips to the right side of the field and two receivers to the left. Stroud takes a snap. He's got pressure and he takes a sack. Pressure came up the middle from, let's see who it was from. It was from it's from Mondin. It was from Mr. Mondin. I think that was I think he's the Mike linebacker of the Georgia Bulldogs defense. He kind of just swoops right in between the guard and the center, and it's really just Stroud has nowhere to go. And another key point of the game, pressure Stroud, and right there, can't really scramble, can't really extend the play because he doesn't have wheels, and he takes a sack. Ball is booted away, and a fair catch is called by the Georgia return man, and Stetson Bennett in the offense will take the field. So a little bit like we talked, a little bit happened. We had the sack earlier, just now, which we talked about it. C.J. Stroud does not have mobility. He does not have elite mobility, and it's going to be harder for him to extend the play. He's going to have to throw the ball away. But there, you get the sack, and now you get the ball back. So I think this is not a good drive, first drive for Ohio State. Uh, you need to score. You need to score points in this game. But hopefully Ohio State's defense can get a stop. Bennett with the running back McIntosh lined up to his right, two receivers on the left, one on the right. Bennett takes a snap. He throws right, and the pass is complete, and he's going to get enough for the first down. It'll be who was it? The receiver kind of went in for a truck on Brown, the Ohio State defensive back, and he's going to be able to get 10 yards there. So first down and 10 for Georgia. Stetson Bennett takes a snap. He looks. Throws over the middle, and the pass is complete again. It was around a 5-yard gain to Marcus Jack Saint Roseme. Uh, Definitely a long name there, the junior. It's had not really considered a top pick, but it's definitely been a contributing factor to this Georgia offense. As we're looking at the key players of the game, another key player is JT Tumalua. Had a really good game against Penn State, and Ohio State's going to need him to get pressure. Bennett with two receivers on the right, one on the left, and a running back line to his left. Bennett takes a snap. He fakes the handoff. He looks. He's got time. He throws it over the middle, and a pass is complete. And he's just going to run over to the right sideline. It's number 5 again. It's Ondale Mitchell, the sophomore, with the reception. And it's going to be a 22-yard reception. And Georgia is now in OSU territory as Stetson Bennett's running tempo. He fakes the handoff. He looks. He throws to the left side, and the ball is just overthrown. I think a miscommunication there. Ran kind of like a button route, but he threw it maybe 10 to 15 yards over his head as it's going to be second down and 10 for Georgia at the OSU 35. Georgia already showing they can move the ball down the field and haven't ran the ball, I don't think, once. So a little concerning there as Ohio State's got to get this passing defense fixed because if they don't, then they're just going to be able to run the ball. Stetson clears it out. He's an empty now. He's got trips formation to the left, two receivers on the right. Bennett takes the snap. He looks. He throws over the middle, and it's caught, and it's going to be, I think, a yard short. Pass was complete to the tight end, I believe. It was, yeah, Darnell Washington, the junior. Bennett runs tempo again. They hand it off to McIntosh. Oh, no, they faked the handoff. The cameraman got faked, and so did I. And it was a read option by Bennett who ran right, but it is sniffed out by Ohio State's defense. And it's going to bring up a 4th and 4 here for this Georgia offense. Bennett tried to run right, but really a nice play by the DB just comes up and makes a play as he did have a D lineman chasing a man. Looks like Georgia is going to keep the offense on the field here. And they are. They're going for it on 4th and 4 at Ohio State's 29. No, they're not. No, they're kicking. Never mind. Stetson Bennett is the holder, I believe. So the kicker, Jack Podlinski, the senior, will trot out for a 47-yard attempt. The kick is down. It's up, and it is no good. Kick is a little wide left, and it is no good as Ohio State catches a break, and they will take over at their own 29-yard line. So a missed field goal already for Georgia, and as for Ohio State, you need mistakes to win this game, and that's a big mistake right there by Georgia. Not really by their coaching, but it's just a big mistake to miss that field goal because think about it now, it's still a one-score game, and we talked about how crucial it was for Ohio State to score a lot of points, and scoring no points on your first drive, you had to get a stop. So good job by the defense for holding them for a field goal as they had a nice third down stop on that Stetson Bennett run. As we'll click down to all plays here. Um, yeah, lost like 3 yards on the run, Stetson Bennett. Tried to do a little read option, ran right, and kind of had to run like behind the line of scrimmage, try and evade all the Ohio State players. But as he inched to the sideline, just the corner just made a nice play and just ran right down to him and was able to force him out of bounds and occur a 3-yard loss, which led up to the missed field goal attempt. So Ohio State's offense will take the field now. A little bit of a weird drive. We can look. They had the first down completion of Marvin Harrison. Then they ran the ball once, and then that was kind of it. It was two incompletions and then one incompletion and the sack on third down. So really, Ohio State's got to shore up that pass that that pass protection because
Stroud can't run, and it was shown earlier that Ohio State cannot get backed up into these to these third and longs because it's just it makes it even easier for Georgia to just play soft coverage and just force Stroud to make a play. And if there's oncoming pressure and pass protection isn't there, he can't. We mentioned his scrambling, his inability to scramble, as Georgia is the second best defense in the country, and Ohio State is the second best offense. But that Ohio State number is highly inflated because of the bad teams they played. And really, against a good team like Michigan, they did not put up 44 points like they were averaged. And even against Notre Dame, they didn't put up that many points. So they're looking to change that and definitely make a better average number there. Stroud, two receivers on the motions the receiver over to the right to make it two receivers on the right. Stroud fakes the handoff, takes a snap. He looks, he throws to the left side, and he's got a man. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. with a big gain. Stroud, and it's going to be a 24-yard gain. And Marvin Harrison just ran kind of like, acted like he was running a cross over the middle, then cut back to the left. Beautiful route running there. And Marvin Harrison showing why he was robbed for the Bolitnikov earlier a couple. I would say I think the award was out a couple weeks ago, but yeah, definitely has one of the hardest work ethics in the building. Stroud with trips formation to the right and a running back lined up to his right. Stroud takes a snap. He fakes the handoff. He looks. He throws, and the pass is complete, and it's going to move the chains again. It's going to be a Mecca Abuka. Wait to see how many yards he gained, but it was definitely over 10. It's going to be a 13-yard gain, and Ohio State is already in Georgia territory. So Ohio State's offense so far on this drive with two big first downs looking real good so far. As we're waiting for everyone, waiting for the ref's clearance, and he gives it. So Stroud's got two receivers on the left for now and one on the right, and he's under center now with, I believe it's Hayden lined up behind center. Stroud hands it off to Hayden. He runs up the middle, and there is nothing, very little there, maybe 2 yards there, and I think Big 80. I think Jalen Carter was in there to stop it. We'll have to see. As it looks like Hayden is going to be the running back number one here. They do have Chip Trayum, who is the redshirt sophomore transfer, but looks like it's just going to be Hayden tonight. And I believe Mayan Williams is injured, but all that really doesn't matter because it looks like Dallin Hayden is going to get majority of the work tonight. Trips formation for Stroud on the right. And no, never mind. Motions the receiver over to the left. So two receivers on each side of the field. Running back lined up to the right. Stroud takes a snap. He looks. He looks. He's got some time. He rolls right, moving receivers around, and he throws to the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Ohio State! Marvin Harrison Jr. continues to show why he was robbed for the Bolitnikov. Beautiful throw by C.J. Stroud and a 31-yard touchdown for the Buckeyes, for this Buckeyes team. C.J. Stroud had a lot good time. He had some good time in the pocket. Rolled right. He was moving receivers around, motioning receivers, telling them where to go. And Marvin Harrison looked like he was going to run over the middle, but then he runs to the end zone, then cuts back right, and then Stroud throws right, and it's a 31-yard touchdown. Extra point is up, and it's good. 7-0 Ohio State. And that is the start that Ohio State fans want to see. A beautiful throw by Stroud, and he showed his mobility there. He can't scramble, but he's not going to beat you with his legs, and that was showed there. He can move out of the pocket, but not so much, like Lamar Jackson, Max Duggan, read option plays you won't be seeing out of Ohio State, those type of plays with those quarterbacks. So, wow, what a drive. Marvin Harrison already has 3 receptions for 66 yards and a touchdown. He is dominating, and we talked about it. We didn't say he was a top player because we kind of, went more broad and said C.J. Stroud has to have a really good game. And to his credit, C.J. Stroud has had a really good game. He's he's been able to extend plays with his feet, and he's also thrown very accurately. Hasn't turned the ball over, and has done a really good job so far. Four for I believe that's we'll zoom in there. 4 for 5, 79 yards, touchdown, as you can see the stats. Marvin Harrison Jr., 3 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown with 8:16 left in the first. So looks like Marvin Harrison's breaking over 100 in this game. But what we talked about, I wasn't sure if that was Kaylee Ringo on him. I don't think that was Kaylee Ringo. We'll check the Georgia defense. No, it was a free safety, Starks. So he got lined up against a freshman. Wow, there's a freshman back there. So definitely don't want to line. Don't want Marvin Harrison, being guarded by a freshman because I don't think it's gonna go well, and it showed there. But really nice start for Ohio State. If you're a Buckeyes fan, this is what you wanted to see: score, 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 score. I said in the pregame we need to score to win this game, and we need to score a lot. We need to, and now Stetson has thrown. He's 4 for 5, 48 yards. He's looked solid, but I don't know how he'll look when you completely take away Kenny McIntosh by going up by a significant amount of points. As they're showing the Buckeyes fan, Buckeyes Nation came out strong in Atlanta, Georgia, as there are some Dogs fans there, of course. Why wouldn't there be? It's just I don't know how far it is, maybe an hour and a half drive. But really nice drive by Ohio State. And also seeing the defense get a crucial stop on 3rd and 1. It's almost everything you could have asked for in the early start. If you're an Ohio State fan, it's almost everything you could have asked for to the early start of this game. Ohio State to score and a big defensive stop on 3rd down. Now all they have to do is just continue this. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a battle, but that's what makes football entertaining, and that's what makes these games, fun to watch and fun to stream. So Ohio State's going to kick it off, and they're kicking it off to Kyrios Jackson, the senior redshirt kick returner. And he's a solid kick returner, projected solid player, projected to get taken in the 7th round or be an undrafted free agent. But we won't see his returning abilities as Jaden Fielding will kick it out of the end zone. So it'll be a touchback for Georgia. And I think the last time they played was in 1993. They're showing in the Citrus Bowl. I'm not sure the outcome of this game. We're waiting to see that, but and it was a Ohio State loss, 14-21, which we could see repeat, but hopefully not. Bennett, and he's gonna have 2 receivers on the left and 1 on the right. McIntosh line up to his left. Bennett motions over the receiver. It's gonna be a jet sweep, but it's going nowhere. It is going absolutely nowhere. As Ohio State's, I believe it was, Zach Harrison, the senior, who he's going to be a kind of a top projected pick next year. First, second, third round, comes up and just kind of just runs right at him and gets a major loss there. It'll be a loss of 7 and a big play by Zach Harrison. Yeah, he's a number 6 defensive end prospect according to Todd McShay. So a nice play there. Bennett takes a snap. And it's going to be a screen to Kenny McIntosh. And it's going to be a nice tackle by Tommy Eichenberg. And it's going to really limit the gain to only 7 yards. So 3rd down and 10 here incoming for the Stetson Bennett and company. Yeah, Zach Harrison projected to be a 3rd or 4th round pick. Jim Knowles' defense already looks better than it did against that atrocious Michigan showing. So let's hope he can keep this up for the whole game. Bennett, 2 receivers on the right, 2 receivers on each side with the running back lined up to Bennett's right. Bennett takes a snap. He looks. He throws to the right side of the field, and it's a nice back shoulder catch there by the. Set to see who that is. It is going to be. Who is that? Is that number? It's number 8. Oh, it's going to be Dominic Blaylock, the redshirt junior, with a nice back shoulder catch, and it's going to be a gain of 20 yards. So Georgia moves the chains on a 3rd down and 10. Really wish, as an Ohio State fan, you would have gotten a stop there, but just can't allow them to score any points. Bennett hands it off to the running back. He runs left, but it's going nowhere again. It's going to be maybe a 1 to 2 yard gain and a nice defensive stop there. 2 Ohio State players were there on the tackle. It was Steele Chambers, the redshirt junior weak side linebacker who came up with the tackle, and Denzel Burke, the redshirt freshman corner. So Georgia really not been able to run the ball here, and has really only had success passing, which is another good thing now. Ohio State, if they can limit the run, then they can finally focus on the pass and not have to run cover 0. Bennett, 2 receivers on the right, under center. He motions them back over to the left. Bennett takes a snap. He hands it off to the running back, and he breaks a tackle, and he's going to get a nice run out of that. Breaks the tackles, a nice stiff arm, and Edwards is going to get a nice gain out of that. It's going to be at least a Georgia 1st down. We'll see where he gets marked down, but had him wrapped up for a gain of maybe 2, but got to finish those tackles as he gets shoelace tackled by number 15. I believe that's McAllister with the tackle. So 1st down and 10 here. Yeah, it is a gain of 18. 1st down and 10 here for Bennett and company. Bennett and shotgun with the running back lined up to his left. It's McIntosh. Motions over a tight end to the left. Bennett hands it off. Or no, he fakes the handoff. He throws. It's going to be a play action, and it's going to be another 1st down. It's going to be Brock Bowers, the I believe he won the college football tight end of the year award, the Mackey Award, I believe it's called. And yeah, he's another player that Ohio State's got to line up well and got to definitely. So it's gonna be a 17-yard completion as Georgia is officially in the red zone, knocking on the door to a touchdown. Bennett, 4:16 left in the 1st. He motions over a tight end to the right. Still on the line of scrimmage, so 1 receiver on each side of the field. In shotgun is Bennett with McIntosh lined up to his left. Play clock running down. Bennett fakes the handoff. He looks and pressure's coming, and he's going to get sacked. It's going to be JT Tumaluo. Can't say his last name right, but it don't matter. He's out there making plays. The 5-star recruit, and I believe top 5 player in, I think it was last year's class or the year before's class, but it don't matter. He's a, let's see, sophomore. Yeah, redshirt sophomore. And he's showing why he was a top 5 recruit a couple years ago with a beautiful sack there. And that's going to make it 2nd and 17 for Stetson Bennett in this offense. The 1st sack since October 15th for Vanderbilt. Bennett was an empty, and he throws a screen, and it's going to be a touchdown. Wow. Unbelievable. It's going to be Kenny McIntosh on the little screen. 25-yard reception touchdown. Wow. Bennett was lined up and empty. He had, I think, trips formation on the left side. I was too busy hyping up JT. And, yeah, trips formation on the left, 2 receivers on the right. And it's just a little wide receiver screen to the running back, Kenny McIntosh, lined up in the slot area. Yeah, the slot. And it's not something you wanted to see there. Really hope to get a stop. But the game's not over yet. Extra point is pending for Georgia, and I believe it went through because ESPN's already showing it did. So let's just see here. 8 plays, 75 yards. Drive took up 5 minutes, and yep, extra point's good. 7-7 here in this ball game. Just, so hyped after the JT sack, and to see that happen is just soul crushing. Really didn't have anyone touch him. Just the offensive line got down the field and was able to block all the linebackers and anyone that was there, and he kind of just ran straight into the end zone. So that's a receiving touchdown there for Kenny McIntosh, who's going to get drafted in around the 3rd or 4th round. He's a senior, and I I'm still confident. And I thought what was crazy. That was the first sack since October 15th for Georgia and they played against Vanderbilt in that game. And if you're wondering, they did win that game. Big surprise. Am I right? But um, I think that's just what needs. That just shows that Stetson Bennett. We haven't seen him this year under a lot of duress and under frequent pressure. And I think if Ohio State can get that, then they can really have a good shot of stopping Stetson Bennett in this offense. But now, CJ Stroud in this offense will take the field, and with one goal in mind, score. You have to score. And I don't think you can even take a field goal at this point. You got to score a touchdown in this game. You got to outscore this or this Georgia team. They just showed you right now. Go down the field. I believe it was, I think it was 75 yards. I think. No, it might have been more than that, but they. I was a touchback at the. I think it was a touchback at the. Yeah, drive started at the 25-yard line. Wow, drive starts at the 25, and they drive all the way down 75 yards. Yeah, I was correct. 75 yards down the field, and just kind of easily score against this Ohio State defense, which is not a very good sign there. So, CJ Stroud, I really, in terms of what I want to see out of this drive, it's gonna be, I want to see the really, what's been hyped up about him, the fact that he can, you know, lead a team and really bring a team to the promised land and is worthy of a top 5 pick. As we are gonna, I did not realize this. We're gonna erase some things because some of this is in the way. So we'll switch this around to make it a little bit easier. There we go. So Ohio State's defense with a crushing touchdown drive. Georgia trusting Georgia touchdown drive right there. Really crushing there, and really just, in my opinion, a blow to our confidence as it's gonna be a touchback. Just, we had the sack. We had an opportunity to stop them, and we still give up a touchdown. Really, just something that you know makes it hard because I know the second ranked defense in the country, you're not going to get opportunities to score. You're surely Ohio State's not scoring 50 points in this game. So, you have to get stops, and just not something out of Ohio State that, should, if you're an Ohio State fan, should make you happy. But if you're a Georgia fan, you're saying to yourself right now, keep it up. Let's continue. Just keep our foot on the gas pedal and just keep scoring. Because if we can keep scoring, we trust our defense can get multiple stops, um, as was shown earlier. So if you're a Georgia fan, congrats, because you're already completing what you probably needed to do to win this game, which was just try and keep up with Ohio State scoring. But your defense got to stop. That's another thing. You got to be happy about that, and really just it's been it's been a very, how can I say, it's been a very been a very uh competitive game. That's what I was trying to say. But it's been a competitive game, and I think Georgia, that's what you want, because if it's a competitive game, then the team that's physical is going to win. And competitive, low scoring game is one that Georgia wants, and it's one that Georgia will get. Ohio State, you got to score. So this drive here, like mentioned earlier, they, like pretty much every drive, they're going to have to score. And if they don't score here, it's going to be real rough real tough sledding here for Ohio State and this team really to get back on track and try and win. As I'm gonna put a nice Peach Bowl logo over my face because I think you guys want to see that my face. So just to let everyone know we're in the Peach Bowl. As Ohio State will trot onto the field sooner than later here. CJ Stroud has played really well in this game. That's another positive, that Ohio State's fans can be really happy about. But, can this continue? Can this offensive consistency continue? That's another thing. Because we saw against Michigan. You want to talk about offensive, you know, offensive inconsistencies, point exactly to that Michigan game that happened. What was that? Back in November. Ohio State really couldn't. They couldn't keep their offense scoring at all in the second half, and they got to be able to score here. So C.J. Stroud is lined up in shotgun with the running back to his right, two receivers on the left. Stroud takes snap. It's a toss to the running back. It's going to be Hayden, and Hayden. Is that going to be called? His helmet gets knocked off there. I don't know if that was targeting. We'll have to see here. No, it wasn't Hayden. It was Johnson. I have a roster here pulled up. He's not even on my roster. So that should show you how banged up Ohio State is in the running back room. I would assume probably a freshman out there as Hayden is back in the game for this Ohio State offense. Stroud lined up in a pistol. Running back right behind him in shotgun. Stroud hands it off again to Hayden. And this time he's going to have pretty much nowhere to go. As it'll be a... What to see? I believe it was this time it's Mayan Williams in the game. So Mayan Williams is playing. I don't know why Johnson took that snap there. Xavier Johnson, I believe. Not sure why he took that snap, but buried deep in the depth chart, that's for sure. No disrespect to him. Stroud with the running back lined up behind him in shotgun. Two receivers on the right, one on the left. Stroud takes the snap. It's another handoff, and this time Hayden's going to find a lane, and he's able to get just enough. It was 3rd down and 1. He gets about 3 yards there, and that's going to be Ohio State first down. As it looks a little injured, Mayan Williams. I don't know. It kind of looks like he's limping off the field, but ran nice there. Is able to absorb the contact and gain 3 yards. Yes, it looks like they're maybe retaping his ankle or something over there. So Stroud in shotgun with the running back lined up to his right. One receiver on the right, two on the left. Stroud motions the receiver behind him to the right. Stroud fakes a handoff to him. He takes a snap. He's going to throw to the right side of the field in the flat behind the line of scrimmage. And that's going to be to Emeka Ibuka, who, it looks like they're retaping Mayan Williams' ankle. So it did appear he was limping off the field, or they're cutting off his socks. I'm not sure what's going on in the Ohio State sideline right now, but as long as it's helping Mayan Williams run, I don't care. Stroud running tempo. Fakes the handoff. He rolls left, and he's going to throw it to Cade Stover, the tight end. And Cade Stover leaps over a Georgia defender, and he's able to gain. How many yards are they going to say he gained on that? 7. 7-yard completion there, and it was a nice bootleg rollout to the left side of the field, and just threw it down to the flat to Cade Stover, and he's able to pick up a nice gain. So 3rd and short here, upcoming for Ohio State at their own 47-yard line. Stroud lined up in shotgun with the running back to his right, two receivers on each side of the field. Stroud. And then are they going to call a false start? There is a flag. Is that a flag on the field? There is a flag on the field. It was a bit odd because I don't have the volume on my T. And they're going to call offsides. Penalties going to be declined because Ohio State had a nice pass over the middle to Emeka Ibuka, which gained like 10 or so yards. So Ohio State moving the chains again and are officially in Georgia territory. 13-yard reception, obviously going to decline the 5-yard penalty for a 13-yard reception. So fresh new set of downs here for Ohio State at Georgia's 40-yard line. As we will go to commercial break, as Ohio State looking real good right now, just showing that they're here for a reason and that they can score, even on a number 2 defense in the league, that they can still score. As we're in commercial break, and I will pause to take a little break. So we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you guys can all hear me. Kirby Smart, I think, looks like he was upset with the call, wanted a false start, but he ain't getting what he wanted, and it's going to be first down and 10 for OSU. Looked like a false start. Georgia was pointing towards the Ohio State offensive line, but just kind of called it a offsides, and it is what it is. Tough break for Georgia if Ohio State did indeed get to a false start, but it's football and it's the name of the game. You know, you can't blame the refs. You gotta go out there and play. And the refs are part of the game. And if they mess up, it is what it is. Buckeyes hurry to the line. Stroud under center. Hands it off. Fakes the handoff, actually. He's play action. Throws to the left side. And he's got a Marvin Harrison again. Marvin Harrison's going to have some room after the catch. Runs to the right side of the sideline. And he fumbles. And it goes out of. It might be. What a series of events there. Marvin Harrison has a nice completion. We'll see the yardage he gained on that, but let's get a replay at this. So he throws to Marvin Harrison on a nice little button hook. Harrison runs all the way over to the right side of the sideline, trying to evade defenders, trying to get as many yards as he can. And he fumbles the ball, gets punched out by Kaylee Ringo. The ball is right near the sideline. Two Georgia defenders try and pick it up, but they aren't able to pick it up, and the ball goes out of bounds. So it looks like Ohio State's going to retain possession, and they're actually going to gain like another 5 yards after the reception because of that fumble. And Ohio State will now be in the red zone, knocking on the door. Stroud in the gun, hands it off. It's number 5 again. I believe it is Hayden. It's Hayden again, and he's going to gain. It's not shown yet. We'll see. Looked like a 3 or 4 yard run there. Ohio State is running the ball for they're running it both ways, inside and outside, which is very interesting to see. Stroud in the gun with the running back lined up to his left. It's Hayden. Stroud looks to the sideline. Trips formation to the left side of him. 2nd and 5. Ball at Georgia's 11-yard line. 13:44 left in the second. 15 seconds left on the play clock. Stroud, running back, moves to the right side of Stroud. I don't know if I said that or not. He might have been lined up on the left. He motions Grossi over to the right. Stroud hands it off to Hayden. No, he doesn't. It's a read option. And we said earlier that you're not going to see some of that Max Duggan read option in the red zone out of Ohio State with C.J. Stroud, but they did it there, and they lost a yard, maybe even 2. A nice contain there by Georgia. Number 32. Who is that? It is Chaz Chambliss. He's the outside linebacker for Georgia. Ohio State is, I think they got a bunch formation now. They motion him out, so it's 3 receivers on the left. Stroud's in gun with Mike Williams lined up to his left and 1 receiver on the right. It's Marvin Harrison. Stroud takes the snap. He looks. He fires over the left side, and it's thrown to the back of the end zone. But, yeah, it looks like they're going to get Georgia for holding. And that's going to be a 10-yard penalty, and Ohio State should be at the 1-yard line, pending a call here. We'll see what it is. It's pass interference. So it should be half the distance to the goal. And a costly penalty there for Georgia. And right now from Ohio State, we'll see the replay. Pass was intended for Emeka Egbuka. Kind of just grabs the jersey, and Emeka, like his head goes down, and it was pretty clearly a PI. So 1st and goal here from Ohio State at UGA's 2. They're going to mark it at their 2. Stroud is looking towards the sideline. Now they're all running up to the play. They're still trying to get guys into trying to sub in guys, and Georgia's subbing in Jalen Carter. Oh my gosh, that man is. Haven't watched very many Georgia games, but that man looks frightening just on TV. Stroud with a fullback and a running back lined to each side. Stroud rolls left. He throws to Marvin Harrison. Rolls left and throws to Harrison on the left side of the field, and you can see Pat McAfee picking up the ball there. Looked like the pass was intended for McAfee. I'm kidding. Pass was intended for Marvin, and he reaches out the hands, but the goes kind of right through his hands. Yeah, that probably is a ball Marvin Harrison should be catching. And it's going to be incomplete, and that's going to bring up 2nd and goal. So they ran a fullback and the running back. I believe it was Mike Williams to each side of C.J. Stroud. And I think they just had Harrison lined up to the left, and Stroud rolled left, and Harrison ran kind of like a zig route, I think it's called. He ran to the right, and then he ran to the left, and it's a nice ball by Stroud. I just think Marvin Harrison's got to come up with that, and Ohio State's going to use the timeout here. That's going to stop the clock at 12:38 left in the second, as I will go to a quick break. as I'm back from my commercial break. And right now, currently 7-7, but Ohio State is at Georgia's, I think they're at their 2-yard line. Um, it's been a good game. CJ Stroud looks good. He's throwing the ball well, throwing it on time, throwing it on target. He had the pass for Marvin Harrison in the red zone. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Really, I don't know. I think Marvin Harrison's got to come down with that. Borderline, I still think he was snubbed for the Bolitnikov. I'm not sure how Jalen Hyatt. I know Jalen Hyatt's an incredible player, the wide receiver out of Tennessee, but I think Marvin Harrison is just an upper level. And we saw a clip on Twitter of after finding out he lost to Bolitnikov, was already in the Woody Hayes training facility, working on that jugs machine, working on his hands, and trying to get better. Top level work ethic for Marvin Harrison, and I cannot wait to see what he does on Sundays in the NFL. So, second and goal here for Ohio State. Stroud's going to be in the eye with Harrison lined up to the left. Stroud takes a snap. It's a handoff to Mayan Williams, and Mayan's going to fight, and he's got it. Touchdown, Ohio State. Mayan Williams. The redshirt sophomore, Mayan Williams, with a 2-yard rushing touchdown. Really nice play there, and it definitely looked like a hold there from Paris Johnson, I believe that's his name. Yeah, not called, but he's fighting, and nope, knees weren't down. Ball crosses the plane. Touchdown, Ohio State. As the extra point is being attempted, it was 11 plays, 75 yards, 505 was eaten up during that drive, and the extra point is good. 14-7 Ohio State. This game is unfortunately looking very similar to the Michigan game where Ohio State's offense looks really good to start the game, but they fade out in the second half. Let's hope that doesn't happen, or let's hope they score as many points in the first half to where they can offset that. A nice drive there by Ohio State, and Mayan Williams is pumped, and who wouldn't be? He's from Cincinnati, Ohio kid. He's probably watched Ohio State for probably all of his whole childhood, and he comes up huge with a touchdown there. I'm sure his whole family, Mayan Williams' whole family from Cincinnati's watching at home, and just a nice drive there by Ohio State. But the defense needs to stop, as I'm not sure what this reporter's saying because I don't have the volume on, but they were cutting off his socks on the sideline. I'm not sure what was doing there, but whatever they did, keep doing it. Cut the socks even lower if it works, as Jaden Fielding's going to kick the ball off, and it's going to be another touchback as Ohio State's defense will take the field and hope to get a stop against this Georgia offense. They were able to get some pressure. We've seen good things out of Ohio State's defense. We saw that they can create pressure, and we saw they can stop the run. But it's really been passing. We can see on the sideline, Stetson Bennett icing a knee, which the bag has a hole in it and it's leaking water. Very interesting, very interesting thing on the sideline there from Georgia. But Georgia fans praying that he doesn't go out, and if he does, it'll be Carson Beck who would come into the game if that injury becomes serious to where he has to come out. Stetson Bennett. Bennett under center, running back lined up behind him in the backfield. Bennett fakes the handoff. And he's getting pressured. He throws, and it's intercepted! Intercepted by Ohio State. It's going to be, we'll check the number on it. It's Steel Chambers, who had the big tackle earlier. Stetson Bennett with the mistake. And Ohio State is going to get the ball in Georgia's territory. Wow, this game, wow. I don't want to jinx it, but the first mistake out of Georgia so far for their offense. He throws it off his back foot, it looked like, and that ball it looked like it was thrown off his back foot. It looked like it. Pressure wasn't coming. And that's what happens when you get pressure on Stetson Bennett. We were talking about it earlier. Hasn't first sack since against Vanderbilt. This guy is not used to getting pressure against him. As we have a Georgia player that's limping off the field. We'll check and see who that is. It's Darnell Washington, the junior tight end, and we'll see what happens to him. So Stroud on offense. Stroud takes the snap. He's got pressure. He throws to the right side. And a pass is complete to Emeka Buka. A 12 to 13-yard gain. And that's going to be a first down for Ohio State. And Ohio State loves their button. I like calling them the button hook routes, the little curl routes. Guy runs for about 10 yards and then comes back. Seems to be working. That was right on Kaylee Ringo, too. One of the players for Georgia that we said needed to have a good game to help his team win. So Stroud under center with Mine Williams lined up in the backfield. Stroud hands it off to, it's not Mine Williams, it's Hayden. It's Dallin Hayden. So he's going to gain about a yard on that. Not much of a gain at all. And it's going to be second and long for Ohio State. Not long, second and like 9 for Ohio State. Kaylee Ringo, he's had some plays against them. If you're Georgia, you're waiting for the Kaylee Ringo play or even some pressure. CJ Stroud is not even pressure. CJ Stroud, we said in the opening that CJ Stroud's got to play well, and he's played really well so far in this game. Stroud with the motions of receiver to the right, 2 receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Stroud takes a snap. He looks. He's got pressure. He steps up. He evades the pressure. He's looking downfield. He throws, and it's